Alrighty, so today we're going to make this simple little child's apron from McCall's pattern M6049, and we're going to use pieces 1, 2, and 3. Now for the pocket I cut out 2 pieces, but I'm still only making 1 pocket. And then for the other pieces we're going to cut that ruffle on the fold, and that's just 1 piece. Now for the body of the apron, we're going to cut 1 piece on the fold. You can see you open it up and it's just 1 whole piece, and this is just a really simple pattern for beginners. So we're going to dig right in. We got all our pieces cut. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take the pattern for the ruffle, and I'm going to mark those little, on the pattern it's a small circle and a large circle. I'm using an X for the small circle and a circle for the large circle, just so I can keep up with what I'm doing there. So you guys can do it any way you choose to do it, but that's how I'm doing it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is fold over and press a hem, and I'm going to stitch that together just using 1 line of stitching. Alright, now we're going to join these pleats, and what I'm doing is taking the X, which is the small O, and pulling it to the large circle, not O but circle, and pressing it down. Now I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to do that with each one, and when you're done you should have 4 pleats. And the next thing you want to do is just stay stitch those pleats in place so that they don't get pushed or moved around when you connect them to the apron body. Okay, so once your ruffle is ready, you just want to connect it to the bottom of the apron, and you'll do that by joining right sides together. It's going to be the bottom edge of the apron body with the top edge of the ruffle. And I don't pin just because for me it's easier this way, because this one has a rounded edge and I feel like if I pin it I'm going to really mess it up. So I just took my time and sewed along that bottom edge. Now the next thing I did was I took that seam on the back side and made sure it was folded down and kind of pressed it to keep it in place, and I'm going to run a stitch all along that top edge of the ruffle to keep that hem down. So, and then for the pockets I'm going to put right sides facing together, and then I'm just going to press down an even hem on the top edge of each one. And what I'll do is go in and sew all around the edges, leaving the top edge open, and then I'll turn it and sew a seam to close that top edge. Now since this has a rounded edge, I'm taking my pinking shears and cutting it before I turn it, and then I'll sew that top edge. If you don't have pinking shears, you can just cut little slits to the seam. Just don't cut through the seam, and that'll help it to go smoother around those rounded edges. And I didn't mark a placement for my pocket. I just don't do that. I mean, you probably want to if you're a beginner. I just kind of like that pocket at an angle there, close to the middle of the apron, but it's up to you. You can mark it with the pattern piece, or you can do it like I did. And I'm just going to sew all around, leaving the top open. Now starting at the waistline, I'm going to fold over and press so that I can make a seam along that edge, just to make it nice and neat. You could also use bias tape on that and just kind of line the whole thing with bias tape, but I felt like it would weigh it down a little bit, and it would because you just never know what could happen while you're sewing. So we're going to sandwich that neckline in between that bias tape and just sew it on there. And then what I will do is take longer bias tape, and I'm going to fit it to the neck and the waistline. And what I did was 13 inches up for each neck piece, and then I just let the rest go as it went. So You just need to make sure you got at least 15 to 20 inches on each side for the waist so that it ties and you can make a nice neat bow. So once you've connected that bias tape to the body and you've made the neck straps and the waist ties, what you want to do is close up the rest of the bias tape, just sewing a seam down the edge. And you could do that beforehand, but it's probably going to get tricky and messy. You're not going to be able to do it. So there it is. There's our finished little child's apron. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and hit that bell so you can get notified of all of my new videos. Peace, y'all. Bye-bye.